Coming up tonight, women's basketball finishes the regular season undefeated.
Later, Gamecock baseball extends a winning streak of their own.
And finally, the Trailblazers are on a playoff rush.
These stories and more on Palmetto State Sports.
From the Blue Ridge Mountains and through the Midlands down to the coast, there's plenty of sports highlights and moments here in South Carolina. There's only one place where you'll catch all the action. This is Palmetto State Sports.
Welcome to Palmetto State Sports. I'm Amanda Baranowski.
And I'm Colleen Sholtis. Thank you for joining us tonight. The Lady Gamecock softball team lost their 14-game win streak last night in a close loss against Stetson University. A 2-run home run put the first runs on the board coming from Gamecock Jordan Fabian, but the lead wouldn't last long.
Pitcher Carson Oakes allowed 3 runs in the top of the 4th inning to the Stetson Hatters, who took the Gamecocks' early lead away. The Hatters continued their lead with 1 more run scored in the top of the 7th, which was matched by 1 more run scored by the Gamecocks.
In the end, the Gamecocks fell short to the Hatters with a final score of 3-4.
They look for a victory against UNC right now at Beckham Field. They tossed out that first pitch when we went live at 7.
Gamecock men's basketball fell last night in Starkville in a close SEC matchup with Mississippi State, 74-68. Carolina was led by Gigi Jackson, who had a game high in both points and rebounds with 22 and 8 respectively.
Hayden Brown and Josh Gray were the only other Gamecocks in double figures as they both had 12 points. Both teams didn't shoot well from beyond the arc, but the Bulldogs were able to keep their first half advantage.
Guard Shaquille Moore led the Bulldogs with 20 points on a 60% average shooting. The Gamecocks will play their final home game this Saturday at 1 p.m. against the Georgia Bulldogs, and that game will be on the SEC Network.
Over to Founders Park, Gamecock baseball moves to stay undefeated in a dominating victory against NC on Tuesday. The Gamecocks held the Aggies to no runs until the 5th inning, as pitchers James Hicks and Eli Jones combined for 3 strikeouts and 1 walk.
The Aggies managed to gain 3 runs on 5 hits in the 7th inning, making their only runs of the afternoon. Here's what pitcher Eli Jones had to say about his performance on the mound.
Today I was just kind of like, let's throw the ball over the plate, get outs. We knew they were a swing-happy team. No one got on base. It was fun when you're locating your stuff. It's easier, Still didn't have my best stuff today, but even when I'm getting outs, I'm not trying to be a jackanape or anything, be a crazy guy, but it's still a lot of fun.
On offense, South Carolina had no problems putting runs on the board. Ethan Petrie led the team with 3 RBIs, making it difficult for NC to keep any Gamecocks stranded on base. Will McGillis also added to the moving bats, scoring his 5th home run of the season and solidifying the lead.
The Gamecocks defeated the Aggies by a score of 11-3. They moved to an undefeated 9-0 season. The second time it has happened in 3 years.
They'll head to Clemson University for a 3-game series this weekend where they look to extend their win streak.
South Carolina women's basketball continues to achieve greatness after they successfully completed an undefeated regular season. The Gamecocks were also highly touted in the SEC.
Head coach Dawn Staley was named SEC Coach of the Year, and many players received awards and honors as well. Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year went to Aaliyah Boston, and Camila Cardoso took the SEC's 6th Woman of the Year award. Boston and Zia Cook were among 2 of the first-team All-SEC, followed by Camila Cardoso making the 2nd team.
Freshman Raven Johnson was named on the SEC All-Freshman team, and Bree Beal and Boston made the All-Defensive team.
South Carolina had at least 1 player in each category, which speaks volumes as they head into the SEC tournament play this Friday at noon in Greenville, South Carolina. They will play the winner of the Missouri-Arkansas game, which will be played tomorrow at noon. I know I'm excited to see how these Lady Gamecocks play, and being undefeated this entire season, it's going to be really cool to see how they play.
Yeah, last year they fell to Kentucky in the SEC championship, but then went on to win the national championship. We'll see what happens this year, especially after an undefeated regular season.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Coming up, SGTV News 4 sports reporter Spencer Ball has the latest on Damian Lillard's offensive outburst. Stay tuned.
The NBA has seen its fair share of explosive scoring in recent years. The most recent offensive outburst came this past Sunday when Trailblazers guard Damian Lillard scored 71 points, which is tied for 8th best in league history. Lillard went 22 of 38 from the field, including a remarkable 13 of 22 from three-point range, which ties him for the second most made threes in a game in NBA history. Lillard has often been revered as one of the best scorers currently in the league, and he's been playing above that standard recently. Dame is now one of only 3 players in NBA history to have separate games scoring at least 50, 60, and 70 points in a single season. The 32-year-old veteran is ramping up his scoring ability this season as he looks to push the Blazers to a playoff appearance. They have 21 games left in the season to try and creep into the standings, and with the way Lillard is playing, they are poised to make a late-season surge. Up next, SGTV News 4 sports reporter Dakota Morris has an update on the women's golf tournament leaderboard.
The Darius Rucker Intercollegiate Golf Tournament, hosted by the women's golf team, concludes this evening in Hilton Head. The number 4 ranked Gamecocks have sat high on top of the leaderboard for the duration of the tournament. The team is currently being led by senior Matilde Glass, who is seeking her first collegiate win. The Gamecocks found themselves as the only team under par after 36 holes yesterday evening. The Gamecocks teed off this morning against LSU and Auburn in an all-SEC final grouping. It's been really nice to see them showing off and showing out in Hilton Head these past couple days.
Yeah, definitely, especially against SEC competition. It's, very impressive.
And it's getting tougher later into the tournament for sure. As the swimming and diving team continues to wrap up their season, they also continue to collect impressive achievements. This past Saturday at the UGA Last Chance Invitational, both Nicole Tao and Patrick Goders broke program records. And to conclude the meet Sunday, 3 Gamecock swimmers collected new personal bests. Along with that, the team has also been excelling outside of the pool. Announced yesterday, 8 Gamecock swimmers have been named to the College Sports Communications Academic All-District Team. The CSC All-District Team recognizes swimmers for both athletic and academic excellence.
Before we go, let's take a look at the Palmetto State calendar. Starting off with men's basketball, the Gamecocks host Georgia on Saturday at 1 p.m. and Clemson hosts Notre Dame at 8 p.m. Coastal Carolina men's basketball will spend the week at the Sun Belt Conference Men's Basketball Championship.
And for women's basketball, Clemson traveled to Pittsburgh at 3:30 p.m. today, and the Gamecocks are headed to the SEC tournament. They'll play their first game this Friday at noon against the winner of the Arkansas-Missouri matchup.
Now over to baseball. The Gamecocks face the Tigers at 6 p.m. on Friday, 1 p.m. on Saturday, and 1:30 p.m. on Sunday. After that, the Gamecocks will host the Citadel at 7 p.m. and the Tigers will host East Tennessee State at 4 p.m. on Tuesday.
Coastal Carolina kicks off a series against Davidson on Friday at 4 p.m. They play again on Saturday at 2 p.m. and finish off the series on Sunday at 1 p.m. Finally, they host East Tennessee State on Tuesday at 4 p.m.
And for softball, the Gamecocks toss the first pitch against North Carolina at 7 p.m. tonight. They'll host Columbia on Friday at 5 p.m. They play 2 games this Saturday with Illinois at 3 p.m. and North Carolina A&T at 5:30 p.m. On Sunday, they host UNCW at 3 p.m. and on Tuesday, they'll host Winthrop at 6 p.m.
Clemson softball hosted Gardner-Webb for a doubleheader today with Game 1 at 3 p.m. and Game 2 at 5. They'll then host Syracuse Friday at 4 p.m., Saturday at 1 p.m., and Sunday at noon.
And finishing off with the Chanticleers, they play Bethune-Cookman at 12:30 and Middle Tennessee at 3 p.m. on Friday. Then Hofstra at 3 p.m. Saturday, and on Sunday they face Central Michigan at 9 a.m. and Creighton at 11:30 a.m. And after an eventful weekend, they travel to College of Charleston on Monday for a 3 p.m. first pitch.
That's all we have for this week of Palmetto State Sports.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter at SGTV Sports, and to keep up with all of our content, be sure to also visit us online at sgtvonline.com. For SGTV News 4 Sports, I'm Colleen Sholtis.
And I'm Amanda Baranowski. From all of us here at SGTV, have a great night, Carolina. Forever to thee.